Hey, Chris.
Welcome back to Landrigan Field, everybody. Second half action about to get underway as the Belmont Marauders and the Wakefield Warriors are tied up at 13. I'm Mike Moscarello. With me is Dennis Doucette and Emilio Murata. We're glad to have you with us for Channel 15's look at the Wakefield Warriors. Captains going to the middle of the field to get their assignments for the second half. The Warriors will have the choice, and we're assuming that they're going to take the football. As we look at some first half numbers, Dana D'Agostino, sophomore quarterback for the Warriors, 6 out of 8 for 88 yards. Done a pretty good job of throwing the football. Scott Price is the man out of the backfield. Dennis, who's run the ball pretty well, but a lot of the press box scribes saying they need to get the ball in his hands even more here in the second half.
That's how Wakefield wins ball games, is they give it to Price and just tell him to find daylight.
Captains mobbed at the center of the field for the Warriors. They look like they're up coming into the second half, Emilio, and coming out of the first half after a late score by David Jones. There was a question of how the Warriors would react to the late touchdown.
Well, I think opening up this half, when they get the ball, they're going to have to reestablish their ground game again. Go back to the emphasis they've placed on so far this season, and that is the ground game. Not be afraid to open up in certain situations just to keep the defense honest, but they're going to have to rely on the run, establish the offensive line again in this half, and maybe take a little bit of the clock away, keep the ball away from the potent offense of Belmont.
Ray Bogus made that same point in this week's Times Chronicle, saying that we've got to establish our run, keep the ball away from Doug Conley and David Jones, and we saw that tandem work some magic. 2 touchdown passes by Conley in the first half, both to Jones, one a bomb, one a screen, and Jones has also proven, Dennis, to be a pretty exciting player in his own right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, any comparisons we may have made to a monkey were laid to rest as we've seen him play. The only comparison we have left is he's got the strength of an ape.
Going back deep for the Warriors, once again in the I formation, Scott Price, number 25, Jamie Farrell, number 21, and they'll do this so that the Marauders will not know which side Price is going to be on. They've tried to kick away from him on kickoffs and punts, and Mike Costello, number 17, has it set up for the Marauders. Second half action about to get underway from Landrigan Field. We're happy to have you with us. The first half was pretty exciting. We hope the second half is as good as the first half was. And here is Juanis, one of the upbacks, taking it on the near sideline. And he is taken down. Number 57 for Belmont, who is not on the roster, unfortunately, is the man on the tackle. So the Warriors take it over 1st and 10. Setting the Warriors' offensive backfield, Dana D'Agostino, number 15, sophomore quarterback. Jamie Farrell, number 21, split receiver to this side. Matt Shevlin, number 9. Scott Price, 25. Darren Conley, 35. They are your backfield runners. And on first down, here is Conley bowling ahead. Carrying tacklers with him. He'll pick up about 8 yards. Good hard running by the senior fullback.
Number 35, Darren Conley carried.
That was just a case of good hard running on his part, Michael. It seemed that Belmont, at the point of attack, closed the hole pretty quickly, and he just squirted out of there and got an additional 4 or 5 yards out of it.
Second down and 3 for Wakefield.
Ball at about the 33-yard line. Again, Conley straight ahead.
You see him do that great job of working the pile. He can just he can have all 11 guys on his back and still be moving forward.
If you look at his numbers on the year, you know he's the short yardage power back. 15 carries, 56 yards coming into this football game, averaging about 4 a carry. He picks up the first down.
On the 38-yard line.
Wanis and Farrell, twin receivers to the near side. Shevlin on the trap. Guard spot, huge hole up the gut for Shevlin.
Shevlin is definitely a wild man, because as much as they're trying to get the ball to Price over and over and over again, they have so many other guys that they can kill you with that you really never know which one is going to get the ball, and that's how Wakefield scores their points.
Mike, as we suspected, Wakefield is going strictly to the ground game. They try to misdirection to the outside there and pop it up the middle, and they seem to be doing a good job.
Shevlin again straight ahead, much more power football there. Power I formation just following his upbacks. Shevlin will pick up a couple of yards. It'll be third down and about a yard. Ball sitting at the Warrior 47-yard line.
I think Coach Ray Bogos at halftime must have certainly indicated that he wanted to get away from the fancy stuff and just line it up and play ball the hard way, go straight at him and see what they can come out with.
3rd and 1. This may be 4-down territory for the Warriors. Conley again moving the pile. Great leg drive by Darren Conley, number 35. He picks up the first down to the 47-yard line.
On that play, Jason Gilroy, added a little extra weight to the pile and gave that little extra surge out of the refrigerator a few years back, and actually moved the pile and got the first down for Wakefield.
On a similar note, Matt Shevlin was almost getting in there like he was pushing almost with his hands, trying to just force everything forward.
Split backfield, twin receivers near side. D'Agostino, the quick look to Wanis. That ball was ruled a lateral. Wanis slow in getting up. Wanis, smart play to jump on that ball as it came loose. It was ruled a lateral. It was a live ball. He loses 3 on the play. It'll be 2nd down, 13 yards to go.
Mike, I think Wanis on that play looked upfield, saw Russell Murphy closing in for a big hit, and it just affected his concentration just that little bit.
From the Warrior 49 on a quick count. Here's a quick pitch to Price, and he's going to be hemmed in on the far sideline. Bashir Hardaway, number 5, first guy there, and a flag comes out of the pocket of one of the officials.
Price could have turned the corner, but he just kind of ran out of room. Not quite, this being the American football field, quite obviously. In Canada, that was 100 yards.
Face mask call coming up against the Marauders. This one will be the big one, the personal foul call coming from Mike Rocha, the referee.
Mike, now this is twice that we see Belmont snake biting themselves in key situations. They had Wakefield on the ropes. After Wakefield got a couple of series of first downs, and then they looked like they were going to stop them. They come up with this big personal foul, and it gives them a 1st and 10.
The Warriors 3-1, the Marauders 2-1. The winner of this one keeps their title hopes alive. Here's the trap to Shevlin again. Cut down by number 21, Sajian Cummings, one of the linebackers from the Marauders, but not until Shevlin picks up 5.
As Wakefield showed in the first half, they just give it to the backs, run up the field, and that's how they score points, and that's why they're 3-1.
Dennis makes a good point, Emilio, and that is do what you do best. And right now it is play hat-to-hat football. They're moving the defensive line off, getting good cushion for their running back, so why try to get fancy?
It seems when Wakefield does get back to that basic formula, that's when they seem to be successful.
Darren Conley has been the hard running back up the middle in this series, and a flag comes in. It looks like we're going to have a holding call coming up against the Warriors. The umpire throws that flag. It's usually a holding call.
Can be a confidence killer, that yellow flag coming onto the field. Just when you think you got something going, you're 10 yards behind where you were.
Wakefield seems to be running on that little misdirection trap play they're running. They seem to be pulling their linemen away from the play, which might be making the Belmont defenders key on their linemen and actually taking them out of the play, making the hole appear bigger. And actually, following the flow, the defensive linemen are following the offensive linemen and taking them right out of the play.
Well, there's a lot of ways you can block a defensive line. You can play hat-to-hat and try to power them. You can influence block, is what you're talking about, or you can trap or angle block. And being undersized a little bit, it seems that Wakefield would try to angle block or influence, but they've also had a lot of success in just playing hat-to-hat and moving the Belmont defensive line. Juanis in motion. Here's Price. Runs out of room on the near sideline. He got a nice block from Ayad Juanis coming in and crackback.
Be interesting to see what Wakefield does on 3rd and long. Will they give it to Price and hope for a big gain, or will they let D'Agostino air it out?
3rd down, 13 yards to go. Ball at the Belmont 37-yard line. 3rd quarter action. The Warriors and the Marauders tied at 13. D'Agostino fires and has Cowanen, who is hit immediately by Henry Owens, number 1. Second catch of the night for the tight end, Brendan Cowanen, and he looks like he's a little slow getting up as Owens hit him a pretty good shot in the back as soon as he caught the ball.
Mike, that was that play that we saw earlier in the first half. Same thing. They had the rolling pocket out, just to keep D'Agostino a little bit of movement to the outside, but don't let him scramble around, get too crazy, get some protection out in front of him, and they bring the receiver onto the tight end down and out on the same side. Both times it's worked beautifully, right to perfection for Wakefield. So it seems D'Agostino can, if he has the time back there, he can deliver those line bullets that we're seeing from him tonight.
As we mentioned in the first half, D'Agostino 6 for 8, 88 yards. Made some good decisions. The 2 incompletions he had were both balls that were overthrown to the sideline. If his man didn't catch it, no one was going to. No threat of an interception. What I like about him, Dennis, is the fact that he's very poised in the pocket. For a guy who hasn't played a real lot, he has a nice feel for himself back there.
Definitely has that show of confidence that's good to see out of a sophomore. I can see 2 years, I can just see into the future, a couple of years down the line, he'll be a dominating quarterback when he's a senior.
Brendan Cowan, number 29, helped off to the sideline by the medical staff. 4th and 3, Ray Bogus sends Jamie Leach in as the tight end, number 85. He's on the far sideline. Farrell to the near side.
Leach may need to fix his pads. He's looking very much like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Touchdown, Scott Price. He bounced off a tackle at the line of scrimmage and then showed the outstanding speed, and once he got past the initial hit, it was lights out for the Marauders.
Well, Michael, if you go back and you take a look at the design of the play, the line did have closer splits. They were packing it in. It was going to be man-on-man football. It was designed to get to 2 or 3 yards. Price hit that hole like a lightning bolt. I don't even know if the defender knew what hit him. They did get the initial first down. It would have been a stop. I think they would have gotten the first down with the initial hit. He bounced right out to the outside. From then on, his speed took over.
I don't know if that's a man or a tank out there.
Out of Mallorca to kick it, Dumont to snap it, Farrell to hold it. Belmont Marauders swarm under the holder Farrell. The points fail, and as the teams come back upfield, the Warriors lead it 19-13.
6 points is kind of a wide open score for high school football because, as you've seen, the
opening drive here it's going to be execution. Wakefield's they're going to have to know that if they execute and they make their key blocks at the line of scrimmage, that they're going to get the ball moving down the field, and that Belmont really does not have a chance of stopping them. They've shown the superiority both in the first half in spurts, and now opening up here in the second half.
You have to give the offense credit. As you alluded to, Dennis, the holding call could have been the stopper in that drive, but they kept their poise, came back, and ended up putting 6 on the board as Price scores his 5th rushing touchdown of the year. He now has 44 points on the season.
A little bit of a holding penalty isn't going to stop the one-man wrecking crew, Scott Price.
The Marauders wait for the first time. Here in the third quarter, they will touch the football. Sajin Cummings, the deep man in the middle with David Jones and Matt Hines. Cooch kick. Handled by one of the upbacks, taken down at the 35-yard line. There is a flag on the play. It may be an offside call coming up against the Warriors. We'll have to check it out. Number 33, Mark Sullivan, the man on the return for Belmont. The Warriors offside. Let's see what Coach Mullen wants to do, and it looks like he'll have the Warriors re-kick.
Michael, once again, as we have this little pause, little break, penalty call, you got to give credit to the horses, the newly named. I hope that name sticks with them. The horses. I think it's up to them. It's their ball game to win or lose. If they provide at the point of attack, if they provide that split-second opening, then the superstars. I mean, the Prices and the Shevlins. They're gonna hit those holes and they're gonna make things happen. But it's up to these youngsters up front to get the job done.
The Warriors special teams have shown their hand here. Let's see if Coach Mullen pulls the switch and moves one of his better return men into the up-back spot to get a better return. Bashir Hardaway, number 5, waits at about the 30-yard line. Here's Hardaway. Swarmed under by the Wakefield special teams. Conley, number 35, the first guy there. And now a flag comes into the pile, and that official threw that flag a good 10 yards. That's a heck of a throw.
He's not too mobile, though, on the outside, Mike, so that's what shortened his career.
Yeah. Defense gets a hold of those officials, and who knows what.
Face mask call coming up against the Warriors.
Warriors having problem after problem with those yellow cloth, with the yellow cloth on the field.
First and 10 for Belmont at the 40-yard line.
Marauders take over first and 10 at their own 40-yard line. Belmont touching the ball for the first time here in the third quarter. Doug Conley, their quarterback, number 7. Guy to keep an eye on, David Jones. Here is Sajin Cummings. Good pursuit by the red-clad Warriors. Stops Cummings for about a yard gain.
Cummings carries for Belmont. No gain on the play, second down and 10.
No gain on the last play. Second down, 10 yards to go. Wakefield defense through 4 games has given up 458 yards rushing, about 100 yards a game.
May sound like a lot, but remember, this is high school football.
A broken play. The Belmont sideline wants an offside call against the Warriors, but at this point I haven't seen a flag come out, and it looks like the referees are not going to throw any. Conley dumped for a big loss of about 7 yards.
That was nothing more than really attentive reading of the snap count by the Warriors. They were ready a second and a half before Belmont even knew what they were doing. Third and
17 for the Marauders. Ball's at the 33-yard line. Costello split to the near side. Split backs behind Conley. Conley going deep, has a man. Mike Costello, number 17, the wide receiver, ran straight down the field, and Conley's pass was on the money. Costello, 6'4", 193 pounds, was covered well by Wanis, but Wanis, at 5'8", and 175 pounds, just could not match up physically as the ball was thrown over the top of Wanis.
That definitely did come into play, Michael. He stretched out. He seemed to power over him, actually like hold him down with one hand and reach up, and the ball hit him high, and he reached up. He was just too tough for Wanis to handle.
Big play by the Marauders on 3rd and 17. Here is Jones on a first down carry.
And alluding to the last play, that looked remarkably like matching Muggsy Bogues on Andre the Giant.
The late Andre T. Giant.
Or Gene Fair, as he's known in the non-wrestling circles.
We've got it all for you here from Landrigan Field. Mike Moscarello, Emilio Murata, Dennis Doucette, the Warriors, and the Marauders. Wakefield on top, 19-13, in what has been a very entertaining offensive show. Here's Jones on the quick toss. Down the far sideline. Touchdown, Marauders.
Boy, when David Jones is 40, he's going to be telling his kids about this game. It's his 3rd touchdown of the night, and he could get a couple of more.
What can you say, Michael? They strike. They have a couple of weapons. Conley, Jones, they come at you quick. That's why Wakefield's going to have to establish it. They're not going to have to get caught up in this run-and-gun game. They're going to have to come back and do what they wanted to do coming out at the half, establish the run, go at them in the trenches, because you know Belmont's going to hit you quick, but they have to keep that up and match it point for point. That's not going to be Wakefield's game.
Costello, number 17, on for the extra point.
Oh!
Snap is mishandled. The kick is blocked. This can be returned. Wanis picks it up, but he is snowed under. And once again, in high school football, on a blocked kick or a muffed extra point, the defensive team can return for 2 points. Conley mishandled the snap. The kick was muffled by, I believe, Ayad Wanis. And we are tied at 19.
Big break for the Warriors on that very much muffed extra point.
I'll tell you, going back to that big pass play to Mike Costello, geez, this Doug Conley, he's got quite an arm hanging off his shoulder. I'll tell you right now, they just come out of nowhere and he explodes and boom, right down the middle of the field. He throws a rope and they're right back in it.
As you look back over the last few years at Belmont, they have always had a quality quarterback. Conley, just a junior, did a nice job for them last year as a sophomore. As I mentioned before, he's played varsity sports in basketball, was part of the state championship team, a member of the baseball team, a very good athlete. A couple of years ago, Mike Bortone, a different style of quarterback, 6'5", 220 pounds, that also played defensive end. You don't see that combination very often. Billy Regan, who was very much like Conley, a very good athlete that had the ability to throw the ball, was a high five on a couple of occasions. So they have had some very good skilled players. They've also had some very good big players, but they never seem to come in the same years. And this may be a year where Belmont is going to have to be reckoned with. Again, we say these are two teams that have been surprises in the Middlesex League. The winner of this one still has a shot at the title. The loser has a long way to go to get a Middlesex League championship this year. Here is Wanis. Coming to the near sideline, did a nice job of getting behind his wall. Makes a good return out of it, and the Warriors will take it over 1st and 10.
Okay, Mike, it's going to be interesting to see if, like I just alluded to a second ago, Wakefield can't get caught up in a run-and-shoot type of situation where they're trying to match point for point. They have to stay established. They have to go back to their ground game, grind it out, and get the points the way they know they can.
Even though it's still early, Wakefield can really almost put this game out of reach if they have a really good, strong, long drive.
Warriors have a first down
We have a stoppage in the play because number 34, Matt Haley, is down on the near sideline right behind the reserve players for the Warriors. One thing the people at home may notice is the constant music in the background. Both Belmont and Wakefield bringing their bands to this one. A couple of outstanding bands. Nice halftime show put on by both sides.
As I mentioned earlier, Wakefield goes to pretty much every competition and brings back something for the trophy case. Their Paul Simon regalia at halftime today was a very entertaining show, while Belmont has gone more with the retro Blues Brothers kind of thing.
There you heard it from our music critic and color man, Dennis Doucette.
Being a bit of a musician myself, I kind of know my way around it. Flag down on the field, so let's get back to something relevant like football.
Illegal procedure call coming up against the Warriors.
Penalty against Wakefield for illegal procedure.
This again, Michael, is something that Wakefield cannot afford to have happen to him. They can't get these little penalties that put them in long situations where they force their quarterback to throw. He has to be in a position of choice. If they're in a position where their hand is forced, that's more difficult for their offense to come about and get a positive game.
On a 1st and 15, Shevlin with no place to go. Number 55, Dimitri Baldakis, and number 21, Sajin Cummings there on the stop. Bring up a 2nd down and about 16. Ball at about the Wakefield 27-yard line. We're in the 3rd quarter once again. If you weren't with us in the first half, the scoreboard clock here at Landrigan Field not operating tonight, so we're not sure how much time is remaining in this period. Price looking for the corner. Taken down by number 1, Henry Owens, and he's about 2 steps from 6.
Again, in Canada, that's 100 yards, but he just ran out of field.
Price, the main man for the Warriors running the football this year, 7.3 yards per carry coming in. Also an outstanding track athlete, sprinter outdoors, 100 and 200.
To say that Scott Price has speed is an understatement. This is a guy who could outrun a Concorde on that football field.
3rd and 5. First man through again, moving the pile. That's Matt Shevlin, number 9. Here's an interesting call now. Those of you who've followed the Warriors know that Ray Bogus will go on 4th down any place on the field. Last week, 4th and 1 from his own territory, he went for it. We'll see if he plays the gambling game or if he sends the punting unit in.
Well, I see Farrell coming in, and D'Agostino coming out, so it must be a kick.
Good to see number 22, Jason Farrell, back in the game. If you remember, late in the first half, he was roughed, got up slowly, and he is back in punt formation. Handles a tough snap and rides one out of there. Ball is loose.
Appears to be recovered by the Warriors.
The other half, the Farrell tandem. Jamie Farrell, number 21, just like they used to do in the backyard, comes up with his brother's kick. The Warriors have the ball at the Marauders' 34-yard line.
Couldn't have done it any better with a run or a pass. Sometimes you have to find a little bit of a different way to move the ball.
Well, as is the case in a lot of high school football games, as we have a timeout on the field, it looks like the 3rd quarter has come to a close. As is the case in a lot of high school football games, turnovers generally tell you the story. The team that gets to play on the short field the most amount of times is probably going to win the football game. The team that turns it over the fewest amount of times is probably going to be successful. And the numbers bear out for the Warriors in this football game.
That's definitely true, Michael, and I think Belmont coach Ed Mullen is probably going to be speaking to his team about penalties, costly penalties at certain points of the game, and turnovers at big times in the game, because they're definitely giving Wakefield a few more chances than they really need to. I think they're relying too heavily on their potent, quick hit offense, and in the end, it may come back to haunt them.
The teams have turned it around. The fourth quarter about to get underway. Belmont 19, Wakefield 19. We thought coming in, Dennis, that it would be a close ball game, and so far we look like we know what we're talking about.
Well, when you get these two superstar player kind of teams, Wakefield with Price and Belmont with Jones, you know you're going to see a show that's worth the price of admission.
Unbalanced left side. Shevlin with a huge hole. Davy Jones takes down Shevlin. Another nice block from number 60, Mike Agri. And it seems, Emilio, when they trap, that Agri is coming from the left guard spot across to the right. They've seen something.
Well, what they're doing, Michael, is they're faking a pitch out to the right side. They're getting the flow of the defense going that way. Then they're coming from the backside with the blocks, and then these holes are gigantic when they run that play to perfection.
Shevlin picks up the first down. The Warriors look like they will take a timeout.
Looking back at that hole, I think I see the 747 coming the other way.
Wakefield takes a timeout as they again are knocking on the door. Wakefield 19, Belmont 19. Wakefield coming in at 3-1, Belmont at 2-1, and the reason they have not played as many games as the Warriors, their game against Lexington 2 weeks ago was rained out on a couple of occasions. That will be made up the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so they'll have a very, very busy last week of the season. The Belmont Marauders will then end up with Watertown on Thanksgiving Day.
Michael, getting back to the Wakefield side of things here, I wish we had a replay to show the folks at home, because that was a beautifully conceived play, well executed. That was probably the best play of the night for Wakefield as far as execution goes.
There's a couple of medical personnel on the Wakefield sideline with a gurney as the ambulance is down on the far end of the field.
Once we pick out a number, we'll let you know who it is as the Warriors come back over the football. It's 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Juanis over the left side, not much there this time. Play stacked up by the right side of the Belmont defense. Justin Mosley, number 72, 5'8", 260-pound D tackle.
From the preliminary look of things, it looks like it's going to be Brendan Callanan who's going to be loaded into that ambulance, but that remains to be seen.
If you remember, Callanan in the third quarter took a shot in the back and was helped off the field, and medical personnel now down talking with Brendan, and we hope that he is okay. He'll be back in future Warrior football games. He is a very good tight end. On 2nd and 9, Shevlin. One thing we'll notice about the Wakefield backs, whether it be Shevlin, Price, Conley, Juanis, they don't go down on the first hit.
That's true, and in Shevlin's case, that first hit came when he ran right into the back of his tackle. He's got to avoid crashing into people if he wants to gain yardage.
Another timeout taken by the Warriors.
Wakefield calls timeout.
When we come back to live action, it will be 3rd down and 5 yards to go. The ball sitting at about the 15-yard line. Friday night under the lights here at Landrigan Field. The Warriors and the Marauders tied at 19. Hope you're enjoying Channel 15's presentation of Wakefield Warriors football. Just to recap the scoring for you, it has been a night for Belmont's David Jones. Wakefield got on top 7-0. Darren Conley, the first touchdown from a couple yards out. Wakefield got on top 13-0 after Ayad Juanis went in from a couple yards away. Then the David Jones show started. Touchdown reception on a short screen pass. Then right before the end of the first half, Jones again on a bomb from Doug Conley to tie it at 13. Scott Price put the Warriors ahead 19-13, and then David Jones once again tied it up at 19. We are in the fourth quarter, tied at 19. Here's D'Agostino going over the middle to Price. Touchdown, Warriors, no flags.
Well, it looks like again they go to the one-man wrecking crew. The pass from D'Agostino to Price, touchdown Warriors.
Well, Emilio, you pound it inside, and then a beautifully conceived play. Ride the fullback in and then pop it to the big guy coming out of the backfield.
Freeze the defenders over the middle just for a second. They fake the ball up the middle. Nice play action. They flutter Price across the middle. He's wide open on that 1 second delay, and he scampers in the end zone untouched.
So the ever elusive extra point coming, and the Warriors will try for the 2-point conversion.
This could make life difficult for Belmont if Wakefield makes it.
D'Agostino on the keeper. Did he score? Yes. Everybody held their breath for a second. Excellent fake inside. Not sure who had the ball. Then D'Agostino. Haven't seen a lot of option tonight, Emilio.
I believe that they went to the option down key, and I think that's crucial down the goal line situations, because then you have to make the defense scramble to figure out where the ball is going in that quick second just to make a yard or two, and it looks like Wakefield made the right decision.
I'd have sworn that Jamie Farrell had the ball. They had me faked out up here in the booth.
So with a 2-point conversion, the Warriors go on top 27-19.
Mike and Dennis, we do know what time it is now. It's D time. It's time to strap on those helmets and bang heads. It's up to the defense right now. We know that Belmont has exhibited that potent offense, but I think the D's got to dig down deep and come up big here.
When you think about it, guys, when's the last time that the defense had a stop on either side? Most of the time the stops have come. It's because the offense has not executed a penalty, a missed assignment, in a negative yardage play. The defense really has not stepped up on either side and made the big play. But as we come down to probably, 6 or 7 minutes left in this football game, I think either coach wouldn't mind coming into a game. It's a 6-minute game with a chance to win on either side.
Well, now it's up to Wakefield's defense to do what they love to do right now, and that's crush some heads.
Jason Adamayorka has been a very busy man tonight, as have the Warriors special teams. They have done a pretty good job of containing the Belmont return people, who are dangerous. Sajin Cummings, number 21, is back there, along with number 38. I believe that is number 38, Russell Murphy. I'll have to pick up that number. And, of course, David Jones on the far side, number 80. And you want to kick it away from him if at all possible. Loose ball finally picked up. Russell Murphy turned what could have been a very dangerous play for the Marauders into a very good return. And you see it a lot of times when that ball is bobbled. It throws the timing of the kick coverage team off just a little bit.
Looks like the Warrior fans are a little excited about this game. I heard a shout from the stands, "Hit him!" They were like literally praying for that one to come through.
Michael, what seems to happen on the kickoff, if it all doesn't go as smoothly as planned when it's kicked, the outside containment men seem to crash in, and that leaves a little seam on the outside to pick up some extra yardage.
Movement along the offensive line by Bachman, number 68, and when you're that big, it's tough to hide when you move. 5-yard step off coming off against the Marauders.
Bachman had his turner in overdrive.
I knew it was going to come sooner or later.
5 yards, first and 15.
In talking to a couple of people that I know who play on the offensive line, Bob Dumont, the center, and my brother Mike, who plays center for freshman football, they say that when it's in such a tight formation and you have so many defensive guys in front of you, they say you can almost get away with holding.
Conley on the roll. Eludes one tackler, now has some room. Down the sideline, flags coming in. We have a clipping call coming up against the Marauders as we saw the foot speed of Doug Conley.
Ed Mullen has got to be pulling hair out of his head right now. He's wondering what's he going to do to get this positive flow going for this Belmont team. I mean, Conley makes a great scramble, puts out, gets some positive yardage. He's going down by the sidelines. That block gave an additional 5 yards. And what's it going to cost him now in the end?
One more penalty on Belmont to break up a good play, and I don't think Coach Mullen's just going to go for his hair. He's going to reach in and pull his brain out of his head.
It's a spot foul, be marked off from where the infraction happened. Not a clip, but an illegal block in the back.
Against the Marauders.
Impressed tonight, guys, with both quarterbacks. Conley showing a lot of foot speed there. We've talked about D'Agostino and his poise, but Doug Conley also has a very nice feel in the pocket.
Again, he's looking like he's all the quarterbacks in the NFL thrown into one, just playing the total package game.
After the penalty, it's a first down in about 8 for the Marauders. Cummings on the outside, running for the stick. We'll see where they mark him out. It looks like he's going to be just short of the first down. They'll mark him out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Second and 2 for the Marauders. Wakefield 27, Belmont 19. Has been a very entertaining football game. And it may be the case where the last team to have it is going to be the team that wins it. Cummings again on the toss, has the first down, shoved out of bounds by Matt Shevlin, number 9.
I wouldn't be too surprised if I saw this game come down to a 2-point conversion attempt even.
Both teams seem to be came off the ball really slowly there. I don't know if there's a bit of confusion from the quarterback and center. Belmont ended up getting the first down out of it, but even on the defensive side of things, it didn't look smooth coming off that snap.
7 minutes remaining in the game. 7.
Seven minutes, we're told, left in the ball game. Conley under pressure is snowed under and almost pulled the Houdini act to get out of it. First
Not much
man
you
on the
can do when
play.
there are that many guys there, though.
Brian Callanan, number 31, first man on the play, and he held on just long enough.
Tackle made by Brian Callanan.
We've seen a lot of that out of the Warriors. It's getting about like all 11 guys in the backfield and just killing the quarterback.
Second down, 15 to go. Belmont from their own 46. Screen coming. Cummings with a lot of room and blockers in front. Taken down by Scott Price and Emilio. He made a cardinal sin. He outran his blockers and got out in front of him. He stayed behind him. I think he's still running.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility, Michael. Beautiful play conceived on the Belmont part. They caught Wakefield in the blitz. They had a lot of guys coming, and they seemed to be swarming. They just didn't get to Conley in time. He just flipped it over to bang. Two factors that you need to make the screen successful. Blockers out in front, and maybe if you get a little extra rush from the defense, things go in your favor.
So Belmont right back on the door, knocking to tie it up from the 27-yard line. Conley on the roll. Fires. Just knocked away. Number 17, Kevin Sheeran, knocked it away at the last moment. Conley looking for his number 17, Mike Costello. Jamie Leach, number 85, the big guy down at about the 34-yard line.
That play for Wakefield, number 17, Kevin Sheeran.
Leach now up. We're going to get a call from Mike Rocha to see if he's going to make Leach come out of the football game. Leach coming to the near side, dragging that left arm a little bit, and he'll be checked over by the Wakefield medical staff. Second down, 10. Ball at the Belmont the Wakefield 27-yard line. Belmont with 3 wide receivers. Cummings. Spun down on a nice play by Darren Conley, number 35, who's had a pretty nice two-way game for the Warriors.
I don't know if Ed Mullins designed it this way, but that turned out to be a little middle screen. I don't know if it was a dump off by Conley or if it was designed in that manner, but Wakefield had an extra guy coming again.
The hand you hear in the background is for Wakefield's number 29, Brendan Callanan, who is being assisted off the field by EMTs, and we hope that that young man is okay. Back to the action. It is 3rd and 5, and it looks like flags against the Warriors perhaps. Looked like movement along the defensive line.
As always, there's the possibility that he could have been drawn off, so we'll see what the call is.
Offside against the Warriors will be a 5-yard step off, and let's see if it's going to be enough for a first down. Give credit to the offensive center there. Emilio caught a man in the neutral zone and snapped it.
He did, and immediately before Wakefield came across the neutral zone, Conley had that classic head snap of quarterbacks, drawing the man off.
Flag down on the play. And this one is going to be against the Marauders. You can tell by the reaction of the offense. We'll make it a first down and 15.
Illegal procedure against Belmont.
Those penalties had come in reverse order. It would have been better for Wakefield, but Belmont has the first down.
First down, 15 to go for the Marauders. Wakefield leads it 27-19. From the 20-yard line, that's Hardaway in motion. Cummings. Couldn't turn the corner because Matt Shevlin, number 9, was there to knock him out of bounds. Well, Ray Bogus said in the paper this week that, Ed Mullins said in the paper this week that Wakefield is a team that likes to jam the middle. We've seen that quite a bit tonight. If they blitz, it has not been a corner or safety from the outside. It's been right up the gut.
No, exactly right. And Wakefield has been caught a couple times on the screens, and it seems like Belmont's going to those corner runs too, which you can catch if you don't get the defensive flow behind you is not fast enough. You can't. That's susceptible to the outside run.
Conley going end zone. Flag on the play. Let's see if the touchdown counts. Number 33, Mark Sullivan with the reception. I believe it's going to be an interference call against the Warriors. And if so, the touchdown will stand.
Again, this is where Wakefield has the advantage, and it all comes back to the turnovers, because now they're going to be the ones with the ball and enough time to get it all the way down the field.
Call against the Warriors will be declined by Belmont, and again, we'll have a timeout on the field. Wakefield 27, Belmont 25, and here, obviously, the Marauders will go for the 2 to tie it up. There's been a very interesting flow to this fourth period. It's kind of dragged a little bit, fellas. After a very upbeat first half, this fourth quarter has been bogged down with a lot of penalties, a lot of stoppage in play. Not a real lot of good flow to it.
No, exactly right, Michael. And these last couple minutes, we're going to have to see the flow is going to have to probably pick up for Wakefield. I don't know if they're going to be able to grind it out. They might have to go to the air a little bit more than they want to. Obviously, depending on what happens here, this last play right here. But geez, I'll tell you, this is a war of attrition. You're right. Whoever has it last has the best shot at winning, because these guys are going back and forth. It's like a heavyweight fight.
Well, in terms
interesting
of
formation here. Split right, the whole offensive line. Conley in the shotgun. Conley on the roll. And he will score the 2-point conversion.
That is what you call the naked rush, I guess. Because he was naked. It was just him and his body and the ball out there all alone.
Even though it goes against the Warriors, that's a terrific play, and that's the kind of stuff you like to see. A coach with a little bit of imagination, trying something new. The Warriors confused on defense, and why wouldn't you be? You've never seen a formation like that. There's no way you can expect that, and Conley ran it to perfection.
I'm just thinking the Warriors were looking at that the way I was looking at it, with a kind of what on earth are they doing kind of attitude towards it, as they could have really delivered a knockout blow by stuffing the 2-point conversion. But instead, it's a dead even ball game, and there's still a lot of football to play.
Very interesting. Maybe some people didn't pick it up. The man who snapped the ball was number 33, Mark Sullivan. Because of the formation, he was on the end of the line of scrimmage, making him an eligible receiver. It looked like the shades of backyard touch football for a second. But after he snapped it, he did go out in a formation, and that may be something that the Warriors just weren't aware of, and no one spied on Doug Conley. And what I mean by spy is play him as a mirror. Wherever he goes, you got to go.
Well, I don't think the Wakefield staff prepared for that during the week. It's like you said, it's something odd that you don't see that often, and it is refreshing to get that. I mean, especially at this stage of the game where you're taking a big chance. Ed Mullen set himself up to be second guess, but he came out on top right now. So right now it's in his favor, and people can't look at that as a bad decision.
We saw only one option off that play, guys, but I think that the way the formation was set, there's an awful lot that Belmont can do out of that with a guy like Doug Conley and some pretty good backs and receivers. The ball is right here in front of us because the interference call on the last touchdown is assessed on the kickoff, interestingly enough. So Costello, if he gets a good foot into it, can pin Wakefield deep in their own territory. And everybody's yelling to get on the ball, but in high school football, you don't have to do that. Once the ball hits the end zone in high school football, it is dead. You cannot return it, and the ball will come out to the 20-yard line.
Wakefield takes over first down and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Again, we hear shades of the Blues Brothers from the Belmont Marching Band.
Unofficially, 4:15 left to go in the ball game. Wakefield, Belmont tied up at 27. Shevlin straight ahead, not much there this time.
Looks like Wakefield ran the option formation there, and they just handed it to Shevlin straight ahead, as you said. But they may be trying to set up for a few plays down the line, maybe trying to spring Price on the outside.
Well, the thing about the option, it'll pound away, and if you miss that assignment with a guy like Price or Shevlin in the backfield with the good speed, they can pop it at any time. As we've said, Price can score from any place on the field. Witness his 81-yard kickoff return against Lexington last week. Quick toss to Price. He'll scamper out of bounds, short of the first down. You could hear the Belmont coaching staff from here yelling, "Come up, come up, come up," to their secondary backs, because once you let Price turn the corner, Dennis, and get his shoulders squared and a head of steam, he's one tough hombre.
Yeah, then he's off to the races. Put your $2 on him to win.
Third and 5 for the Warriors. Ball at the 25-yard line. The yard to make is the 30. Shevlin is the deep guy in the eye. Price the up man, and flags on the play. It looks like we may have a delay of game coming against the Warriors. Correct me when I'm wrong, it's a timeout called by the Wakefield Warriors.
That was kind of an easy one to mistake, Michael, because Coach Bogus was calling for the time on the sideline, and the official didn't see him for a long time. They had a couple players signaling along with him, and then they finally did pick it up.
Thanks for backing me up, partner. 3rd and 5. D'Agostino, a quick check with Ray Bogus on the near sideline. Farrell and Price come to the near side. Here's the fake reverse. Belmont does not fall for it. Dave Jones, number 80, who's done it on offense all night, does it on defense for Belmont.
As soon as I saw him step up on that play, I was like, who else is it going to be but Dave Jones? I mean, he's showing his flash here today. I mean, he's coming up big in all certain situations, and that's what you gotta look out of your big time performance. When it's time to perform, crunch time, to make the play.
4th and 10. The Warriors in punt formation. Jason Farrell, number 22, into the football game. End over end kick. Cummings on the big hop. Touched his knee down right down here to our left. Mike Agri, number 60, was bearing down on Cummings.
Just a bit of a good break for Wakefield in seeing Cummings fall down like that. Because it would have been many a yard before they knocked him over.
The Marauders have their hands on the football at the Belmont 47-yard line. We're trying to get an idea of how much time is left. We were told originally 2 minutes, and let's see if that's the official word. Belmont 27, Wakefield 27. Has been a very entertaining football game. Outstanding performances tonight by David Jones of Belmont, Scott Price of Wakefield, and Doug Conley, the man under center for the Belmont Marauders, has had a nice game as well. Conley will now tuck it under, right up the field. Good pickup on first down to the 35-yard line. And there, Emilio, it looked like they did have a spy on Conley, but Conley just outran him.
Yeah, exactly. This guy's showing his true athleticism back there. He's got the arm and the legs. The pocket broke down on him, and Wakefield had good pressure, and he just made the gain on his own. He outran the spy. Good job by Conley back there.
1st and 10 for the Marauders. Conley again will tuck it under, shedding tacklers, and will scamper out of bounds.
Appears that Connolly's taken the destiny of the Marauders into his own hands, thinking that he could single-handedly beat the Warriors.
In high school football, high school sports for that matter, guys have always thought that when it comes to a big point in the game, you turn to your best player and say, this is where you are going to have the ball until they take it away from you. I would assume that it's going to be Conley and Jones for Belmont when they have the ball, and if I'm Wakefield, I'm going to try and get the ball into Scott Price's hands. It's a very simple look at things, but I really think it's very effective in high school sports.
Exactly, Michael. On that last play, as we saw, you see Conley's poise. He says back, the rush starts closing on him. He actually slipped on the turf, and he didn't panic. He just looked upfield, tucked it under, and said, hey, if I'm going to get 3 yards, if I'm going to get 10, I'm going to go positive direction, and he got the job done. I mean, that's the kind of performance you're going to look to your leaders, which you're going to exhibit that kind of performance, and it's going to transcend and go to the other players on the field at the time with you.
Timeout on the field. 1st down and 10 for the Marauders. The ball at the Wakefield 24-yard line. We are tied at 27. Ray Bogus finished meeting with his defense, who has done a pretty good job this season in keeping his team in football games. As we mentioned before, they've given up 61 points on the year, but 35 of it came in one game against Reading. So the other 3 games, they've done a pretty good job of stopping the opposition, and they've run into a very good offensive football team in Belmont. Cummings looking for the corner. Swarmed under by the defense. Number 78, Eric Nova. Big guy get outside to take down Sajin Cummings.
Michael, this game is, I don't know if you harken back a couple weeks, it's reminiscent of the BC-Syracuse matchup, just an offensive shootout, and the defenses seem to be non-existent. But BC's defense did come up big in the end. Maybe we can get the same kind of performance from the Wakefield D right here.
In looking at Eric Nova, he's listed at 2 1/4, but it just seems to me like he weighs more than that.
Well, he got the big frame outside to chase down the shifty running back, Sajin Cummings, another guy who seems to have been on the Belmont roster for the last 10 years. They have a few of those guys that have been there for a good 2 or 3 seasons. Jones, Cummings, Conley's going to be a guy you look at him, you say, I can't believe he's still here after, 5 years. But this kid, a very talented player. You'll see him again. Those of you who are Middlesex League basketball fans, he will be one guy that Paul Lyons will hang his hat on during the basketball season. And then come to baseball season, you're going to see Conley again as a shortstop or a pitcher. So he's a guy that will not go away for the next couple of years. Wakefield hopes he goes away right here as they're in a 2nd and 10 situation. Conley down the middle, and it is incomplete. We got a flag on the play, and let's say which way this one is going to go. Some bumping down there by the goal line on Costello. Scott Price, I believe, was the guy on the coverage.
Michael, check that, number 21. Jamie Farrell had an interception. It bounced off his chest protector, his shoulder pads, chest portion of his shoulder pads, and he was in the end zone just slapping the ground, wondering where'd it go? Where did it go?
Fortunately for Mr. Farrell, unfortunately for the Warriors, it would not have made a difference. A holding call coming up against Wakefield. That will move the change for the Marauders. Ball at the 15-yard line. 1st and 10. Once again, we're not sure how much time is left. We know we're inside at 2 minutes. And if you're Ed Mullen, maybe you're thinking if we can't get into the end zone, we may be talking about a chance for 3. Jones. Touchdown.
Number 4 for Jones. What can you say? Wakefield just seems like they're powerless to stop him. Again, he'll tell his kids about this game. He got 4 touchdowns. Everybody in Belmont and his girlfriend especially will be proud of him. Or if he doesn't have a girlfriend, maybe he can get one with this game.
Mike Costello on for the extra point. See if Belmont again will run the swinging gate. They huddle on the far sideline. Another option to the Belmont extra point package. It puts a little fun into the game for the Belmont offense. Conley to hold it, Costello to kick it.
Mike Costello will attempt the extra point.
Costello knocks that one through.
I'd say it's desperation time for the Warriors.
As the team come back upfield, Belmont 34, Wakefield 27.
Well, Michael, as we see at the conclusion of that drive, as we alluded to earlier, the ball was in Conley's hands, ended up ultimately in Jones' hands for the touchdown, and Sajin Cummings. The three people that, the coach, like you said, he's going to say to them, hey, the ball's going to you guys. It's up to you guys to get the job done, and they responded.
I think for the rest of the teams around the Middlesex League, guys, the Belmont defense is going to be one to keep them in games. I don't think the Belmont defense is going to win the game for their team. They're going to keep them in the game and allow the offense with all the weapons to go and win. They're not going to win a lot of 6-0 and 10-7 games, guys. I think it's going to be this type. Get it up and down the field, and if we have the ball last, we're probably going to beat you. However, if you're Belmont, you have to look back at the deep man, number 25, Scott Price, and say this one is not over yet. This guy can break it from any place on the field.
Well, it It's just a matter of seeing how far Costello can kick the ball, which will determine where Wakefield starts. With a little bit of luck, maybe Costello will flub the ball and Wakefield will come up with it.
Mike Costello will kick off for Belmont.
Costello goes deep. Here is Price. He's got a wall, and he's got some room. Price still on his feet. He could go. Touchdown, Scott Price.
Michael, I think me and you are flying to Vegas right after this game because you're on a hot streak, partner.
Oh yeah, I think the Belmont defender summed it up best when he just grabbed his helmet and slammed it to the ground. That was beautiful.
Well, Coach Bogus had said all week that early in the year we've been running middle returns, just getting Scott Price to go north and south. Here, they ran the wall to the near side. Price made one super move to get outside the contained man, and then it was just great foot speed. He left the last two defenders in the dust. And guys, though Price made a great run, it's decision time for Coach Bogus. 34 for Belmont, 33 for Wakefield. What do you do, Dennis? You go for two, do you play it safe?
I'd say let's see just how well I'd say give it a Price, let him run for daylight, and let's pull a win out of today's game.
I think it's up to the horses, Mike. Once again, you knew it was going to come down to this. You knew the horses were going to play a big role. And I think they can pound out the 2 yards and get the cloud of dust for the victory.
Wakefield has taken a timeout, and that is their 5th timeout. They are done for the evening, but I think it's a good move for a couple of reasons. Number one, if you're going to get the ball at a Price, let's get him another minute or so to catch his breath and relax and get his head clear after doing what was seemingly the impossible, going almost the length of the field for the score, and give the offense an idea of what you want to do. Now, if you're Belmont, you got to sell out right here, guys. I don't think you can sit back and play read and react. I think you got to come and get it. And if they run something wide, well, then they've beaten us on a better call.
Well, here comes the crew. They're out for the win.
The Belmont sideline to a man, down on one knee with helmets off. The Wakefield sideline up. 2-point conversion will tell the story. Shevlin is in for the 2-point conversion.
They couldn't have written it better if this was Hollywood, Michael. I'm telling you right now. You knew Wakefield was going to go one of their big backs. They pounded it in. They got the block on the outside, and then Shevlin just bowled his way in.
Left side of the offensive line blowing a huge hole in the Belmont defense. Scott Price, you use him as the kick returner, you use him catching the ball. Here, use him as a decoy, and he played it perfectly. Fake inside, and as we were saying at halftime, fellas, Belmont has not stopped that play all night, and they used it at a great time for the 2-point conversion.
I'll tell you, Wakefield High School is going to be rocking on Monday.
This is what a lot of people would call a program game, and what I mean by that is when you're a team on the edge of stepping up to the next level, like a Belmont and like a Wakefield, you get into this football game, you get in a tough situation late. Do you have the guts? Do you have the determination to come back and make the big plays? If you do, or maybe you can get to the next level and become a football program. And right here, if Wakefield can run off a few more, as we said all night, they got a shot at the league championship because they play the contenders, Burlington, Winchester, and Woburn down the line.
Exactly, Michael. This is definitely going to give Wakefield a step up. Now they're coming in 4-1. It's definitely impressive. They beat a decent football team tonight. Well, the last few seconds are winding down, but this is going to actually send Belmont down a notch now. 2-2, a couple of tough losses, and like you said, this is a definite confidence builder as well as a program builder tonight.
Well, guys, nothing is safe tonight. Again, we don't know how much time is left because the scoreboard clock is not functioning, but Belmont has a couple guys back there that may be able to shake one loose. Stay in your lanes, special teams, and watch out for a gadget play. Cummings in the middle. Jones to the far side. Murphy to the near side. Ball is loose. Wakefield has it.
Wakefield showing the guts right there. Adam Mallorca just decided to kick it straight, bounce it off Belmont, and let the Wakefield special teams go to work. A gutsy move, a brilliant move, and Wakefield has this game pretty much locked up.
Thomas Chapman, number 20, the man on special teams, who's made a couple of good special teams plays this evening, comes up with the fumble recovery.
If I could just give you my best Keith Jackson. Oh, Nelly.
It wasn't a very good one, but the point well taken.
Michael, you know where I stand tonight. Dennis, you know where I stand tonight. I'm with the offensive line. Price puts you in a position to win the game, to give you a shot at winning the game, but the offensive line gets you into the end zone. And I got to give it to the horses tonight. You know, I'm backing them 100%. These guys played a hell of a ball game tonight, and you got to, you know, the coach can give them a pat in the back and say, hey, job well done, fellas. Thank you very much.
Agri was up to that line like a kid on Christmas. He just ran up there and got down in position.
Conley, who has had a nice game, Bulls ahead for about 5. Belmont will take a timeout. Gain of 3 on the last play. Second down, 7 to go. Ball on the Belmont 37-yard line.
Michael, once again, if we go back to the return kickoff by Price, once again we saw he fumbled the ball initially, and as he's scrambling to pick it up, the contained men seep in a little bit. They relax a little bit. They say, hey, he's not running it fluidly. He's not coming right at me right away. And bang, next thing you know, he's around him. He's got a wall, and boom, he's gone.
The Warriors lead this one 35-34. They have the football in Belmont territory at the 37. Again, we're not sure how much time is left. The Warriors just seemingly have to run out the clock here. But I guess if you're a Wakefield pessimist, the name Joe Pisarcik creeps into your mind. So for sure Coach Bogus is saying keep a couple of hands on the football, guys. Shevlin.
Michael, that was very close to going all the way. That same play they've been running all night long. They pinch the block, they pinch the outside man, and they get that little opening, and that back explodes through there, and he drags the guy, and boom, he's gone.
Warriors are looking at this like they're still behind, running like they need a touchdown.
Gilroy, Agri on the left side, Dumont, the guy in the middle, Jamie Leach over there, 85, the tight end. Doing a heck of a job, especially on the offensive left side. Both sides have done a good job tonight, but the money side has been Agri and Gilroy over the left side. Here is Conley, barreling straight ahead.
Michael, it's amazing what a little bit of confidence and a little bit of enthusiasm for your side will do. And now they're blowing through them like the 85 Chicago Bears, and Walter Payton was back there.
Forget the 85 Bears. We're looking like the 72 Dolphins with Zonka and Kick back there.
Belmont calls timeout.
I'm getting grief from the fans. My first game in Wakefield, the people in front of us are giving us grief, guys. I don't know. Belmont takes a timeout, and before you ask me, I don't know how many timeouts they have left.
Mass confusion in the broadcast booth, mass confusion on the field. Who knows where it goes from here? Let's hope the guys upstairs are still shooting the game.
Second down 8, but that pretty much is not the story at this point. The story is how much time is left. It completely changes the game when you don't know how much is left. And this is a good sign as we look behind us, the assistant coaches coming down from the booth. That generally means it's about time for the lights to go out here. Wakefield on top, 35-34.
It's backyard football. It looks like the friends are having their mothers call them home for dinner. That's about where we are right now.
Conley again going straight ahead. They'll take a timeout to see if Wakefield has a first down. The Marauders trying to preserve every second they can to try and get another shot to get David Jones' hands on the football. Jones and Price have been worth the price of admission, especially for us, because we didn't have to pay.
That's very true.
But even if I did have to pay, guys, two outstanding players. Price, a guy who took some time off from football. How good would he have been if he had played right up through his senior year? And Jones is a guy who's been at the varsity level for a few years, and just really a couple of really super athletes to watch, and they've carried their teams tonight.
Well, we've had a couple of great performances from both quarterbacks tonight. The running backs from both teams, the wideouts. I mean, it's been an all-around good offensive performance. I don't know. They might have to check the films, and the coaches might have to run a little extra practice time and grill these defensive plays. But offensively, it's been nothing but flash and spectacular plays.
Still, when the smoke clears, it looks like Wakefield sending Davy Jones back to his locker.
I knew that was coming sooner or later, Dennis. You're far too cliche not to use that one. D'Agostino will pick up the first down on the quarterback sneak. Mike Rocha raises the football, and the clock has run out on what has been a tremendous football game. In a lot of ways, it's too bad this one ended, because this was very entertaining. We said at the beginning that both teams loved to get it up and down the field. Well, they certainly did, and it was our pleasure as fans to watch a football game like this.
I could have watched all night. I had a million jokes coming.
Michael, as you said, it was a great ball game to watch. It was a pleasure working with both you and Dennis, and hopefully we'll be back for another exciting Wakefield home game.
Final score, the Warriors 35, the Marauders 34. Wakefield goes to 4-1. Belmont falls to 2-2. Wakefield with a chance, if things go well, to run out the string, get a shot at the Middlesex League title, but they've got tough ones against Woburn, Burlington, and Winchester up the road. But offensively, they're as good or better than any of those teams. It's going to be the defensive side of the ball that makes the difference.
I think if they beat Woburn next week, it's like next up the Super Bowl. That's the big test.
That's going to wrap it up from Landrigan Field. I'm Mike Moscarello for Dennis Doucette, Emilio Murata, the rest of the Channel 15 crew. We hope you've enjoyed watching this as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. Again, Wakefield 35, Belmont 34. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon. Until then, so long.
Couldn't have picked a better game to put on TV.